Welcome to Menopause from a Man with your host, Joe Hoye, where my goal is to educate, empower, and equip you with the tools that you need in order to make the second half of your life the best half of your life. If you enjoy this show, make sure you subscribe to catch all future episodes, and please share it with a friend that you think will enjoy it as well. Now on to the show. Welcome back to another solo episode of Menopause from a Man. I'm your host, Joe Hoye, and today, like I said, we're going solo. We don't have a guest today, but what we do have is a lot of beliefs to break, a lot of stereotypes to shatter, and the reason that is because we're diving into exercise for women over 40. You should know that. Menopause from a Man, we are only talking about you ladies over 40, and sometimes you ladies 37, 38, 39, okay? But before I go anywhere in this, I want you to consider this one question, okay? Now, would you rather work for your weight loss, or would you rather that your body does the work for you and for your weight loss? Now, honestly, it shouldn't take that long for you to consider that. It should be a very obvious answer. And most of you, hopefully all of you, should be saying, I want the latter. I want my body to do the work for me and for my weight loss. Okay? Now, whether you're just starting out or you're looking to get the most out of your current workout routine or even switch your current workout routine after hearing this episode is going to be for you. Plus, at the end, I'm diving into a Q&A from our free online community. Okay, this is something I'm going to do probably on every single solo episode that I do. Okay, so if you want your questions answered, I'll have a link for the community inside the show notes. I'm gonna post the Q&A opportunity about a week or two before I record the episode, so you will always have time to get your own questions answered so that you can make the most out of your progress and inside your journey. Okay, now, before we go too far, we first need to talk about what the right and wrong type of exercise is for women 40 plus. And really, that's a trick question because there's no wrong type of exercise. Exercise as a whole is really designed to make us better in one way or another. Okay, now I'm assuming that many of you may be doing cardio. That's what we see in our community. That's what we see from our new clients. And cardio is great for heart health, okay? But it's not great for weight loss. And it's especially not great for fat loss, okay? Now, here's why. Number one, you heard me just differentiate between weight loss and fat loss. Now, if all you wanted to do was reach a number on the scale, I could get you there extremely quickly because losing weight is simple. It's also easy, but losing fat is also simple. It just takes a little bit more nuance, okay? And now the other types of weight you could lose would be your muscle mass. We don't want that. Or it could be losing water weight, which you do on and off all day long and it goes up and down, okay? So what we want to do is lose fat. And if you're only doing cardio, you're burning way more muscle than you need to be and should be. And that's not good because once you reach that number on the scale that you've always wanted, you're going to quickly realize, okay, well, I may have reached that number on the scale, but now I did not reach the desired composition that I wanted to see when I looked in the mirror because you lost all your muscle. The other thing with that is you're going to lose all your food freedoms because you lost all your muscle. Your muscle is the engine to your body. It's what burns those calories. And so if you don't have a big engine, if you're not burning a lot of calories, guess what? You don't need or you don't get to eat a lot of calories. And that's not very fun to do for the rest of your life. Now, the other thing with cardio is that it is great for burning calories while you exercise. But as soon as you are done exercising, guess what? You're also done burning calories. And so it's not very efficient for weight loss anyways. Now, here's the deal. Cardio is great for heart health, but I'm assuming that most of you listening want to lose fat and change the way your body looks, feels, and functions long term. And so if you want to do that, strength training is going to be the place you want to spend time when you're exercising, okay? Now, this is crucial because it's going to boost your metabolism, number one, making it easier to lose weight. And the way that that happens, again, is because muscle is the engine to your body. And if you have this really high-powered, super high horsepower Ferrari engine, gosh, you are burning through so many calories all day long that you have so many food freedoms so that when you get a craving, you can actually listen to it and you'll still be successful. And guess what? When you can listen to your cravings, the whole weight loss process, the whole fat loss process gets a whole lot easier because then you listen to that craving. It's not in the back of your head getting stronger and stronger and stronger until you have this binge episode that sets you back 3 to 4 days, 3 to 4 weeks, even 3 to 4 months, okay? Now, strength training also combats muscle loss. And as we understand now, you want to lose fat, not muscle. And so if you're strength training, you're fighting back against against that muscle loss. You're also fighting back against the loss of bone density. These are two things that are very prevalent in women 40, 50, and 60 plus. Now, here's a quick statistic. At the age of 40 years old, as a woman, you're losing up to 1% of your muscle mass yearly. Now, when you get to age 50, that number doubles. You're now losing up to 2% of your muscle mass yearly. And when you get to 60, that number again doubles or quadruples from its original number, and now you're losing up to 4% of your muscle mass yearly. And now, I really want to drive this point home, now we understand that losing muscle mass also eliminates our food freedoms. It makes weight loss extremely hard. It also takes away your functionality as you age, and it's not going to have you looking the way that you want, okay? Now, the other good thing about strength training is that when you're done lifting weights, or using your body weight, or using bands for resistance training, you're not done burning calories. You've been burning calories throughout the entire exercise or workout, but you're also going to burn them long after because your body needs to recover. And when it recovers, it takes calories to do that. And so it continues burning them long after you're done. Very interesting, okay? But does this mean that because you're burning calories during the workout and after the workout, that you should be exercising regularly? And I mean every single day, daily, no rest breaks. That's gonna bring the question to mind, how much is too much, right? Because there is a too much, and overtraining or over exercising can be a real issue, okay? Moderation is going to be key. And what we did for our community and what I want to offer you today is actually two things. But number one, we're going to start with what I call our simple success recovery system. And so the reason it's called this is because number one, if you spend any amount of time with me, you're going to learn my two favorite words really quickly: simple and success. Everything in life should come back to that, really. And the way that we do fat loss and ultimately overall success in a health and weight loss journey is through simple success at Hoye Fit. Now, what I designed for our clients and then ultimately decided to give to our free community and now decided to give to you is what I call our simple success recovery system. And in there, what it's going to do is it's a point system where you rate yourself. And it's very simple. It's going to take you under 2 minutes. And at the end of those 2 minutes, you're going to have the answer of the perfect amount of exercise for your body. And the reason that this is important is because we need to understand two things. We need to understand that when you strength train, you're breaking your body down. You're truly making it worse, because what happens is that as you're lifting weights, and for anybody watching the video version of this, you're going to see that if you're doing a bicep curl, you're creating these tiny microscopic tears inside your muscle. You're damaging your muscle. You're also sending a message to your brain saying, oh my gosh, this crazy person's using this muscle. I need to keep it. But not only do I need to keep it, I need to make it stronger. Okay, and so as you're damaging it, as you're eating calories, you're taking those calories, you're sending it back to the muscles that you just damaged, and those calories are helping you to recover, but not just get back to where you were. They're helping you get back to beyond where you were. You're getting stronger every single time, okay? And so the only way you can do that is through recovery. Now, here's the thing. You always need to be recovering more than you're exercising or more than you're breaking your body down. And so you really only have two options or two paths to go on. You can either over-exercise and make yourself worse little by little, which is eventually going to lead to you hitting a wall, feeling burned out, feeling like crap, not enjoying your workouts. Or the other side of this coin is you can recover and make yourself better, which is going to lead to you looking better, feeling better, functioning better, eating more food, being stronger, having the body that you want. Okay, and so that's exactly what the Simple Success Recovery System does. I'm going to have a link for that. It's completely free down in the show notes. And I just want you to pick that up to make sure that you're getting as much out of the time you spend with me as possible. Okay, now we understand that you need to recover more than you need to exercise. Great. But this is an exercise-based podcast. So where do you start? Where do you start if you understand, okay, I need to recover more than I need to exercise. Joe is saying that I also need to strength train more than I'm doing cardio. What the heck do I do? There's so many things to do. It's so overwhelming. I've never stepped foot in the gym, or if I have, I felt judged and I didn't go for a long time. Don't worry, we're going to get to that. But you're going to begin with basic strength training exercises that target your major muscle groups, okay? These are called compound exercises, okay? We're going to get into that here in a moment. But the other thing is that consistency is going to be more important than intensity at the beginning, okay? So no, I don't want you going 5, 6, 7 times a week. But what I want you to do is score yourself on that Simple Success Recovery System, ultimately figure out how often you should be exercising, and then work that into your schedule. If you can go 2 times a week, find out how to do that and stay consistent on that twice a week routine. If you can go 3 times a week, make that promise to yourself and keep it. Get there 3 times a week and stay consistent. It doesn't matter if you're not breaking a sweat yet. It doesn't matter if those machines or exercises are uncomfortable right now. It doesn't matter if you're lifting as much weight as you think you should be. The intensity will come, but it has to follow your consistency, okay? But let's say we have that. Let's say you've figured all this out so far. You've cut back on your cardio. You've increased your strength training. You now know that you need to work your major muscle groups. I'll get to that in a moment, like I said. You have scored yourself on the simple success recovery system and you're consistent. Okay, great. But now, how do you start progressing? So number one, let's dive into working your major muscle groups. That's gonna be done through compound exercises. And what a compound exercise is when you work your muscle or use your body by using two joints instead of one. And so the joints in our body that you're gonna use are gonna be your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your elbows. Now you can choose to use one of these to work a muscle, or you can choose to use two of these and work many more muscles at the same time. Okay, and so if we're just bending at the elbow, then you're only working one muscle. The only thing you're working is either your bicep if you're pulling up, or your tricep if you're pushing down. But let's say you want to improve and really step up your game in the gym and be as efficient as possible. Now you're gonna work from your elbow and from your shoulders. So not only are you gonna work your bicep or your tricep, but if you are pushing down or just pushing, you're going to work your tricep just like you did from the elbow movement, but also your shoulders and also your chest. And if you're pulling, again, just like you are working your bicep from the elbow, you're still working the bicep, but now you're still working a part of your shoulder and you're working your back muscles. And so doing the same amount of sets and reps, so let's say you were doing 3 sets of 8 reps for a bicep curl, but now you're doing 3 sets of 8 reps for a lat pull down or a row. You're still working the bicep, but you're also working 3 times as many muscles in the same amount of time. So you're being far more efficient. You're burning far more calories. You're creating far more progress inside your muscles, increasing your food freedoms, getting closer to your goal faster, and it's more fun. Okay, so number one, let's use our compound exercises. The main ones that are going to come to mind for me would be deadlifts, squats, and pressing movements. Okay, a pressing movement could be an overhead press, like using your shoulders. If you're watching the video, you see me flailing around, or it could be a bench press. So laying on your back and pressing up and down with weight. That weight can be bands, it can be dumbbells, it can be barbells. You can also reverse that and do push-ups using your body weight. Okay, now next, we want to have intent. You're only going to be in the gym 2, 3, maybe 4 times a week strength training. You're only going to be in the gym those 2, 3, or 4 times a week, 30, 45, 60 minutes a day. If you really fall in love with it, maybe we're spending an hour and a half. That's not a lot of time out of you. When you're there, I don't want you scrolling on your phone between rest breaks, making those take 10 times as long. I want you to have intent. I want you to really focus and have purpose with why you're there. Remind yourself why you're showing up. You're showing up for you. You're showing up for your family, your friends, your health, the way you look, to escape anything that you don't love right now. You're showing up for your mental health as well. Have intent when you're there. Spend those 45 minutes wisely. Okay, next, we're gonna dive into progressive overload and what the progressive overload principle really is. Okay, so that is how, once you have everything we've talked about down pat, that's how you're gonna really make progress in the gym. So let's say you've cut back on cardio, you've increased your strength training, you filled out the simple success recovery system for free, and you figured out how much you should be exercising. Now you figured out how to do the exercises safely with good form. You figured out what weights are good for you, and you're seeing progress, but now that progress is stopped because you don't know where to go. Here's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna introduce one of the multiple principles of progressive overload. Now keep in mind 2 things. Number 1, this is only done when you can maintain good, safe, effective form. Number 2, there's multiple principles of progressive overload. You're only going to choose one of them per exercise, okay? Now here's the principles, and I want you to write this down or go back to this video. Maybe I'll chop it up into a little short video for you. We'll see. But you are going to aim to increase one of the following per exercise. You're going to aim to increase the amount of sets you are doing. You're going to aim to increase the amount of reps you are doing. You're going to aim to increase the amount of time under tension that you use for an exercise, okay? And so if you're watching the video again, you can see me do this, but I'm doing a bicep curl, and if I curl it up for 1 second and I curl it down for another second, that's it. But we can make this longer. We can do that same rep for longer. I can curl it up for 1, 2 seconds. Now I can curl it down for 1, 2 seconds. So we just made that take twice as long with the same amount of weight. We're working our muscles harder and longer, sending signals to our brain to get stronger. You can also increase the amount of weight you use, okay? But remember, you're only doing these when you maintain good form. And then lastly, you can also aim to decrease something. You can aim to decrease the amount of time you're resting, okay? So again, progressive overload is following one of these 5 principles per exercise, assuming you're keeping safe form. You want to aim to increase the amount of weight you use, the amount of reps you do, the amount of sets you do, or your time under tension, or you can aim to decrease the amount of time you rest in between sets. And that's actually a really good transition point right now because I want to talk about rest times. Now, before we started really diving into strength training for our clients, this was a while ago, they would find find a workout online, or we would make one for them, and it would say 1.5 minutes of rest, 2 minutes of rest. For big, heavy exercises, it could even say 3 minutes of rest. And we were finding that they didn't need that rest time. And they were actually starting to go crazy. Right? They were supposed to rest 3 minutes. They didn't fully understand why. And then they were cheating it. They were only resting for 1 minute because that's all they needed. Well, here's the deal. Those rest times in your workout should be there for a reason. And the length of them are also there for a reason. If you are seeing something where you're supposed to rest for 3 minutes, I want you to work so hard that you feel like you need that rest for 3 minutes. Okay? There's a reason we have rest built into exercise. If rest wasn't important, you would do all your sets and reps back to back to back throughout the start to the finish of the workout, and you would be done in 10 minutes. But it's just not effective. What you need to do is give your body that time to rest and recover so that during the next set you do, you're ready, you're recovered, you're ready to attack it and really push yourself. Because when you push yourself, that's when you grow, that's when you get better, okay? Now, finally, what I wanna do is debunk one big myth. And this is tricky coming from me. Because for anyone that's seen me, for anyone that's watching this video, for anyone that has spent any time with me, for anyone that hears me, I'm not like you. I am a man, 30-year-old man. And I know many women worry about looking too muscular if they follow my advice. I get it. You have this guy giving you advice to strength train. I also get that most of you inside your generation were told that if you're weightlifting, it's gonna make you bulky. Here's the deal. It won't. It won't for a number of reasons, okay? Now, strength training for women is about building lean muscle, about building a metabolic engine so that you can burn fat easily, so that you can enjoy food freedoms. You're not just going to sneeze and get jacked. I promise you. If it was that easy, I would look much different. Okay, now I'm a fairly muscular guy, but I'm not that big. And I've worked hard for 17 years, both in the gym and in the kitchen, with my nutritional needs aligning with my gym goals. Now, what I mean here is that if you're afraid you're gonna get too bulky, but you currently want to lose weight, that doesn't match up. Because when you want to lose weight, you eat in what's called a calorie deficit, which means you're eating less calories than your body needs to just make it through the day. And so your body begins to take those energy needs, which is calories, and pull it from somewhere else, okay? And so if your body's pulling from somewhere else, it's pulling from your body, it's pulling from your fat stores, it's pulling from your muscle mass. And if you're worried about getting too bulky, but you're not eating enough food to even survive, it's impossible to gain massive amounts of muscle. You're just not going to do it, okay? In order to get too bulky or gain a serious amount of muscle mass, which personally I still think is great for women because you're combating that muscle loss in a massive way, you need to both really push yourself inside the gym, but also eat in a caloric surplus, AKA eat more calories than your body needs to just survive every single day for a long period of time. And even when you do that, you're going to be gaining 1 to 2 pounds max of muscle mass per month, okay? And then here's the crazy thing. I want you to consider this. If you find yourself getting too bulky, guess what? You can stop. All you have to do is stop exercising, stop really pushing yourself in the gym, and you will stop growing that muscle. This is in your control, okay? And if you're in a fat loss phase, if you're wanting to lose weight, you're not gonna get too bulky. You're simply gonna combat the effects of midlife as a woman, okay? So I hope this was helpful. What I wanna do is dive into the Q&A session that I had offered our community and hope that, number one, all of you listeners are gonna get something positive from this, but number two, make sure that the members of our community that asked also get to have their question answered, okay? Now, so the first question is, how do I deal from increased hunger from some workouts like boot camp and lifting heavy weights? Here's the deal. Hunger is generally a cue from your body. If you're constantly getting hungry after every single workout, you should probably listen to your body, okay? You should be eating some food. If you're hungry around the clock, you need more food, okay? If you're in a weight loss phase and you're getting hungry 10, 15, 20 minutes before a meal, that's different. That's a pretty good sign that you're still healthy metabolically, still able to lose weight, and you're in a calorie deficit. But if you're hungry all around the clock or after your workouts all the time, message me and I will send you our free calorie calculator to help you figure out how much food you should be eating for your goals and to make sure that you're actually eating the right amounts of food. Now, the next question is how to avoid getting bulky. I know people constantly say it's not possible, but for some people, they build muscle easily. Now, I kind of answered this question already, okay? But here's the deal. Some people build muscle faster than others. Yes, no one builds muscle so fast to where you just look like Arnold, okay? If you get too bulky, switch your training style. It's that simple. simple. Now, again, your calorie intake needs to match that goal. If you're eating in a calorie deficit, you will never get too bulky. And I understand too bulky is a subjective term. That is somebody's personal opinion. But if you're eating in a calorie deficit and you're strength training, you're going to be keeping your muscle and you're going to be seeing that your fat is leaving, assuming you're in good metabolic health. Now, what we could see happen is that you already have a good amount of muscle on your body due to playing sports in high school or college and just maintaining that, due to having a physical job, due to anything really. And so what you could see is that as body fat is leaving your body, you're starting to see the muscles that are under that. And if you're too bulky, gosh, I would never want to encourage somebody to try to lose muscle mass. I would encourage you to redefine what it looks like to be a beautiful, strong, healthy woman, because that truly is, or should be, the goal, is having a good, healthy amount of muscle mass, okay? And the other thing, this is just a question that I'd want you to ask yourself, and I'll probably talk about it another day in a separate solo podcast, but a lot of the women that we work with, they don't want to take up that much space. And I want you to consider and ask yourself why. Why don't you? What is wrong with being strong? What is wrong with having a considerable amount of muscle mass on you? No, you're not going to look like me. No, you don't have to look like me. You don't have to look like a bodybuilder. And here's the deal. Even if you do have a lot, and I mean a lot of muscle on your body, as a female, you will not look like a man. Our bodies are shaped and built completely different all the way down to our bone structure. It's just not going to happen, okay? Now, the next question. Why is a rest day so important? We went over this again, but I want to include it and really kind of dive back into it. And it's important because exercise breaks you down, right? You are getting worse and worse the more you exercise. And the only way that you can get better is as you recover. Recovery builds you up. So if all you do is exercise, all you do is break your body down. You will be broken and your body will eventually fight back. Now, if you allow recovery, you get stronger and better faster. You get healthier and everything changes in a positive way. It is literally the fountain of youth, okay? Next question. I've read conflicting opinions on high intensity interval training for women over 40. Some suggest it's great for our age, and others say, much like steady state cardio or jogging, it's going to increase our cortisol too much. Here's the deal. Number one, I want you to ask yourself, do you enjoy it? Do you like the HIIT training? Do you like the jogging, the running, the half marathons? If you do, I don't want you to stop. The only thing I'd ever want you to do is dial back and find the good balance for you. The balance where you're still doing the things you enjoy weekly, but you're not working with your body to burn through that muscle even faster. Okay, we now understand that you're losing 1 to 4% of your muscle mass yearly, just as a woman 40 to 60 plus. If you're helping your body waste away at that muscle even faster, it's time to make a change, okay? So if you like those kinds of exercise, keep doing them. But I want you to put a priority on strength training, as that's gonna be your biggest concern for all things health, longevity, bone density wise, muscle mass wise, and body composition wise. How you actually look in your clothes and in the reflection, okay? Next question. If I have one arm or shoulder that's weaker than the other, I have a history of rotator cuff surgery 6 years ago, should I do more reps on the weaker side to build it up? Yes, absolutely, okay? Use dumbbells instead of barbells. Use kettlebells instead of barbells. Use bands on one side instead of on both. You can still work both sides, but on that injured side, use less weight to where you can comfortably do it with good form and no pain. By exercising on the other side, you're going to send messages to help the side you're working less or not able to work at all. You're also going to work your stabilizer muscles. Those are the small muscles around the main ones you're really focusing on by using dumbbells or kettlebells or single-sided exercises, okay? How often and is it best to alternate upper and lower for body splits, or is it okay to do fewer workouts and hit major muscles during one session? So the how often question was answered already. What you want to do is down below in the show notes, click on the link for our Simple Success Recovery System. That's going to tell you how much you specifically should be working out. And I wanted to build that and share that with you because it's really hard for me to sit here and talk to an audience that may be very similar, women that are always going to be 40, 50, 60 plus, but I don't know you. I don't know your life right now. I don't know the amount of stress you're under, the amount of recovery you give your body. And so for me to tell you how often would be doing 99% of you a disservice, and I might hit the nail on the head for one of you. So this is very generalized, but to really get spot on, download that free Simple Success Recovery System. That will help you out. But again, it's going to be based on your recovery, okay? To kind of answer your question a little bit better, first and foremost, you should always be focusing on your major muscle groups during every single workout, okay? You want to look at using compound exercises. Again, using 2 joints instead of 1, using your shoulder and your elbow as opposed to just your elbow. What that's going to do, it's going to work the same muscle you worked if you used a single joint movement, but it's also going to work the other muscles around it as well. More bang for your buck, less time in the gym, more progress. That's what you want, okay? Good question here. How do I know if I'm doing it correctly? That's a tough one, especially if you work out by yourself or you work out with a friend and neither of you are super experienced. The best answer is investing in yourself is always the fastest way to success in anything at all. Now, I know that the person that asked this question is actually a client. So what you can do for us or for yourself is take a video and you can send it to us and we'll tell you. What I would want you to do is send 2 videos of the same exercise. Number 1, do it with you facing us, and then do it with the phone or the camera directly on your side so we can see the front and side views and really tell you. If you don't have a coach and you aren't willing to invest in a coach, or you don't have the resources to invest in a coach, what I want you to do is still take video. I video almost every single exercise that I'm new at so that I can get that feedback and I can see how my body's actually moving, okay? And from there, what I do after I've taken that forward-facing and side-facing video is I will compare it to a YouTube video of someone that really knows how to do the exercise safely and correctly, and I will look at the differences. And to be honest with you, you're not gonna get it just one time. What you're gonna do is you're gonna see that maybe if you're brand new to an exercise, you're doing 3, 4, 5 things wrong from the correct way to do it. That's okay. You're progressing, you're learning, you're getting better. It's where we all started. Now, focus on one. Focus on the biggest problem that you see that seems most obvious and fix that. And after another workout or 2, video yourself again once you fix that problem, then compare it and see what's the next problem you need to fix. And slowly but surely, you will perfect that, okay? You also want to think about and ask yourself, what muscles am I supposed to be working? Do I feel it there? Do I feel it anywhere else? Do I feel it differently? If you're supposed to be working your chest, but you only feel it in your shoulders, that's a good sign that you're not doing something right. And again, you should use that video feedback formula to really figure out what's going on and what's going wrong and how to fix it. Now, this next question I really like. What are the pros and cons to going to the gym versus working out at home? And I want to break it down to 4 sections. Number 1, here are the pros that I can find to going to the gym. Everything, okay? I really mean it. There are so many pros to going to the gym. Number 1, you're gonna have access to different machines. If you really get into strength training, different barbells that have different purposes, unlimited ability to progress through weights, through different machines that hit the same muscle in different areas. You'll have mirrors to really check your form, which again, that can go with the last question, how do I know I'm doing it correctly? You can use mirrors. You will make friends. You will have a community. You will have help, and you'll be able to focus because you're at a gym, okay? We'll talk about this in the cons of being at home, but you're gonna be able to focus because you're at the gym and you're there to do one thing. Now, here's the cons that I can find in a gym. Travel time. Sometimes in rural areas like myself, it takes me 20 minutes to get to the gym and 20 minutes back home. If I have a busy day, that extra 40 minutes can really affect me. The other thing is expenses. Depending on where you live and what gym you go to, gyms can get really expensive. And if you don't have the resources, that's not super helpful. So what I would encourage you to do is, number 1, take a look at your priorities. Where are you spending money? Can that money be used somewhere else for now to make you better? Look at the other gyms around town. Can you go to a Planet Fitness or a big chain gym that is much more cost effective? Now, another con that I can see of going to the gym is being judged. And here's the deal. There's 2 truths in this. Number 1, you are very, very rarely being judged. Even when somebody is looking at you and you might feel like you're being judged, 9 times out of 10, you're not. Most people are way too concerned about themselves to even consider thinking about you. But here's the truth. You might get judged. You might do something silly if you're brand new to the gym, and that's okay because we all have. And for anyone that does judge you, they do not matter. They should not matter. They will never matter because they didn't wake up on day 1 perfect at the gym. They went through the same exact trials, tribulations, embarrassing moments, and unknown exercises that you have or that you are about to. And that's okay. That's how it goes for everything in life. But if you're willing to be bad for a short time, on the other side of that, you're going to be good. And then you get to help others. You get to help others understand, hey, you're not being judged. Hey, I noticed you're doing this wrong. Maybe I can help you. And you can make friends. Okay, so is that a con? It can be, but you can also change your mindset and work on that, and it can disappear completely. Now, here's the pros of working out in home. You have no travel time, okay? You roll out of bed and that gym is right there ready for you. It's also perfect for beginners that are afraid of being judged because who's there to laugh at you? Your dog might be, your cat might be, your children might be, but that's gonna be fun. You get to practice this in the comfort of your home. But I think the cons of working out at home are much larger. You're seriously limited in the amount of progression you can make unless you have this amazing home gym, in which case this is a completely different story. You're also gonna have way more distractions, okay? This is the same is true for working at home, the same is true for working out at home. You have a million other things you could be doing. And if right now you're not in love with exercise, your brain is gonna find plenty of other things that you could be doing other than exercising. And so if you're worried about that, I'd get your butt in the gym, spend 30, 45, 60 minutes in there, really have intent and just knock that out. And then the last piece is you're not gonna have any spotters. So So let's say that you do have a nice home gym. Let's say you do have enough weight to really progress. Eventually, when you want to progress, you're going to need to push yourself. And when you push yourself, you're going to want some help. You're going to want someone there to really watch your back and make sure you're safe. And oftentimes those people aren't going to be there. Okay. So that's it for the Q&A session. Now, after listening to this episode, I want you to check out the Simple Success Recovery System. And if you did that, you're going to notice I also included something else for free down below. I built out free workout templates for 2, 3, and 4 day a week workout programs, all for strength training. So once you've rated yourself on the recovery system and you figured out how often you should be working out to maximize your results, you also have workouts. So I hope you enjoy that. And if you have any questions on them, I hope you also joined our free community so you can be a part of the Q&A session on the next podcast, but then you can also get directly in contact with me and ask for any clarity you have on those workout programs. Okay, now these resources are going to help you start as well as maintain your fitness journey effectively. Now, another thing to consider lastly is supplementation. Let's say that you've been with me for a while, or you've been paying attention to some coach that's helpful in doing things the right way for a while, and now you have your nutrition dialed in. Now you have your exercise dialed in, and you are seeing results. You are feeling better. If you want to take this to the next level, using supplements to support your progress and your health is huge. It's not going to be a game changer, but it is going to make you progress 1% faster. And 1% every day adds up over a long period of time. So if you want to be healthier, if you want to reach your goal faster and easier, using the right kind of supplements would be huge. What I want you to do is consider First Form supplements. I am sponsored by them currently, but even if I wasn't, I'm going to be honest with you, I would use them. The culture there is great. The supplements are great. They do what they say. They taste amazing, and they actually have clean ingredients. And those 3 things I don't find often inside the supplement industry. Okay, you can find a supplement that does what it says and has good ingredients, but it's not going to taste good, or you can find a really tasty supplement that has good ingredients, but it's not going to do what it says. So to have all 3 of those in one is pretty darn rare. Okay. And then lastly, don't forget, there's a lot of episodes coming. We are going to be dropping 1 episode a week for the foreseeable future. We have both more solo podcasts like this to educate you and move you forward in your journey lined up, but also really exciting guests lined up that you're not going to want to miss on topics that selfishly I want to learn about with you so I can help you out more in your journey, but we're going to learn together and they're going to have plenty to teach you. So stay tuned. And once again, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Menopause from a Man. I'm your host, Joe Hoye. Have a good day. I just wanted to thank you for tuning into today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed the conversation and found it valuable. Now, please do not forget to subscribe to this show and leave me a review. It's going to help with 2 things. Number 1, reach more women so that we can change more lives, as well as help us to get amazing guests onto the show to help change your life in a bigger and better way. Be sure to check out the show notes for any special offers from myself and Hoye Fit. And until next time, stay healthy and keep thriving.